Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. We got the resolution on whether or not they would be taking the long way or the short way. We got the answer, and they're going to be taking the more risky route, but they will be there in time to still harvest crops and take advantage of the seasons that they're wanting to in the States. So, all well and good, right? Let's take a look and see what they're going to do next. So, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's check it out. Episode 2, Science Journey.
So what's the deal here? Why do you have a tray full of soggy wheat?
Try it out in the oven.
I thought you just soaked the stuff.
What are you even trying to do?
And I get to beat the heck out of it!
Mix it in hot water and filter.
You get wheat juice.
They're hops that grow wild in Japan and boil.
And
Just
you
let
got
our yeast
alcohol.
buddies do their
That's how
thing.
they made the beer.
We'll leave it to ferment on its own and become
Yeah.
alcohol. The yeast will even carbonate the stuff for us. We gotta have some sober folks to make sure the ship doesn't sink or something. But luckily, not everyone is a fan of drinking anyway.
Fair enough.
I'm not really old enough to be drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
So I shall mix some special non-alcoholic cocktails. It would be a blow to the entire crew's morale if we were to let those who don't imbibe feel left out.
Can you really do all that on this tiny shipboard bar?
Expect nothing less from Francois. Let us know if you need anything.
Whatever you want. The science team's on it.
And since you're offering so magnanimously.
Once you wash the wheat flour, the gunk that collects down there at the bottom is starch. The secret ingredient is sulfuric acid. It'll melt your teeth if you drink it straight, which is why we boil the crap out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Dump in some toxic witherite.
That's poison too!
That's probably just the name that sounds scary, right?
It's straight up poison. Would you scaredy cats just shut up already? Mix it up, check the pH, filter it, and it's harmless. That's how science works. Of course, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll die. After that's done, you've got gum syrup.
Milk.
Warming up a bottle of milk, huh?
Whoa! Dude, you made yogurt!
Take some filtered yogurt, add gum syrup, a little bit of lemon, and voila.
Huh. little mini Suika.
I hope you enjoy this.
Wow! I've never had anything like it before in my life! It's super sweet, a little bit sour, and 100% yummy!
It looks like an even tinier, cuter version of your helmet, Suika.
It's not just a
No,
decorative garnish.
part of what the
Once you're-
bartenders I learned from on YouTube teaches that the drink presentation actually makes the drink taste better.
Francois looks like a bartender in a movie, the way they're throwing the drinks around.
It's simply for flair. It treats the guests' eyes in addition to their palates for a more complete experience.
Wow, talk about mastering the art of hospitality.
Watch as the red of the pomegranate under the scientific glow of the black light changes like the gentle flame smoldering inside Sukus's heart.
It turned blue?
Yeah, that's literally like a super simple cocktail, but like due to the fact it has the extra flair on top of it, it's gonna be awesome.
Very good. Thank you.
A chili pepper. Uh-oh. Froze up on us there for a sec.
That's what I call a spicy cola!
And for you,
Humanity really is something. We have the imagination and knowledge to create amazing things from natural ingredients.
for the one and only Senku. Whipped matcha, milk, and hojicha tea syrup. The layers represent science and the way that it constantly builds upon itself.
Since I'm gonna drink
Kind
it
of
all
looks like
together,
a
can't I just
B-52.
stir it?
Damn. Francois, you are too good.
Ooh,
Brutal.
yeah, but smart.
There's no saving me now.
Mm.
Why did the heavens curse us with this evil petrification weapon? If the ultimate goal was to turn everyone to stone, it would have only taken one device to make it so. Had they been designed for us? Why are they so easy to use? Were they intended to be treated as weapons, to wield against each other? It's quite upsetting, infuriating. I want the gods to know that we humans aren't so foolish. That they should never make a mockery of us.
They kill every single one of them.
To be so fast to not even give them a chance to petrify him.
And then, of course,
I cannot escape my
surrounded.
fate. Therefore, I must ensure future generations know what wrought this calamity. But still, I must go on.
Beer with matcha. The bitterness that comes with maturity will someday mellow into something more palatable.
Lightweight.
He's a lightweight?
I know people like that.
I failed him. I must make myself stronger.
Yes.
Tsukasa, let me borrow your chest.
Sure.
Oh, thank you.
Forgive me!
Oh boy.
If you can train him in modern fighting techniques, Matsukaze will improve exponentially.
My condition is 2 revivals. The right to awaken 2 people.
I know who one of them is. Yep. Oh, not Maz. I knew her. I knew he'd revive her.
Yoga, it's you.
There's something else to do first.
There certainly is. Got some good-looking girls here. I'd like to start by getting more acquainted with them.
Yeah, everybody they could have brought back, that kind of makes me
Maz.
mad.
Yeah, Maz, no. Like, here's the thing, there's only one thing. He's got a one-track mind.
Hero, come here. So I was thinking, we,
Train in secret.
bitter defeat always turns into a mellow thingy.
What are you saying?
Oh, it's like something Francois said earlier.
Is it
Something
now?
more elegant.
These brave warriors ruled the northern seas. They are the Vikings! Displaying extremely impressive nautical skills. The Vikings arrived in the Americas 500 years before Columbus.
Uh-huh.
How are they able to get around so easily? It's
They
not
did
like
it.
had
What?
time-
Easy, my dude.
It was said that Vikings had a tool that would reveal the position of the sun under any weather condition.
Wow, look at that! What's the deal with all these hourglasses? Don't forget the sundial, too. These will help us transmit the time in Japan as accurately as possible to our friends at the ship.
Oh.
Message for Broody?
It'd be impossible to have a conversation.
Then how do we get the message?
Well, they won't be verbal, but we can receive faint shortwave signals. So they send one every hour, right on the hour.
All I have to do is count the seconds to make sure we stay accurate.
How could I forget we have Senku the human stopwatch as our captain? The modern grown-ups don't really understand how any of this stuff works either.
Right now, the sun's at its highest point in the sky.
Meaning that it's 12 o'clock our time.
The time difference gives us our latitude. And the height of the sun, our longitude. Perseus is currently here.
As long as we can see the sun, we'll know everything we need to.
Yeah.
And then what happens when you
Skies
can't see
ahead
the
be
sun?
nice and clear. It's smooth sailing all the way to the USA.
If only we had something magical to help, like that sunstone thing from the Viking legends.
Compass.
When you look at stuff through the translucent part,
Looks kinda weird.
you can see the mark twice through the rock. A little bit offset. Okay, so which way would the sun be? See? It lined up! The two marks look almost exactly the same. Now we can know where the sun is at, even when it's cloudy.
Calcite, so duh. It acts as a natural prism, splitting rays of light in two.
So when they
And turning 2 rays of light into 1.
When they investigate Viking shipwrecks at the bottom of the ocean, they often discover a huge amount of calcite. Although it's always been a mystery as to why they were carrying it with them.
Maybe it wasn't
Yeah.
some sort of legendary magic item.
Our crew is sailing across the ocean to the Americas, just like the Vikings of old, with help from the incredible real power of science!
Except from opposite directions. That's
What's next on our science journey?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the rough seas of the Bering Strait are no joke, dude. Damn, that's a big-ass iceberg.
Yeah. Huge. Whales.
Whales!
It's like they've gone past Alaska now.
Yeah. Land ho!
It's land.
Welcome to the new world! Well, they made it to America. I mean, and honestly, there's multiple, like, interesting things because, you know, the compass being one thing that they used for guidance, the sunstone, which, you know, the Vikings used for guidance. Then there's the, I forget what it's called. It's like the Greek navigation, the Greek navigation device. Yeah, the Antikythera mechanism. Basically, this thing right here was able to determine, like, time and position and everything. And this is the remains that they dug up on the bottom of the ocean, on the bottom of the Aegean Sea.
So is that what it's supposed to look like there?
Yes.
It's like that. I believe they used that in some like puzzle games I played, like, or at least used it as inspiration for mechanisms and places because that looks really familiar.
Yeah,
I want to say there's something like that in Myst somewhere or something like that.
Yeah, the Antikythera mechanism has been a mystery ever since it was discovered on the bottom of the ocean, and basically in 1901, 1902 they discovered it, and this is basically just they didn't know what the hell to make of it. Then they basically have done their best to reconstruct it in the modern era, digitally and everything, and this is one of like the concepts of it. This is the more like defined concept, and then this is it basically blown up and blown out, like everything together then pushed apart. It's truly a marvel of the ancient world. I mean, look at this thing, guys. It is insane what this thing could do, especially back in like ancient times. It just shows where technology was, and then when it fell off during the Dark Ages, and then it rebuilt back up, and now we've gone way past anything that we've ever had before. And it makes you wonder where we would be if we wouldn't have had that collapse in the Dark Ages, or if the steam toy that was discovered in ancient Greece had a little bit more like thought thrown into it, and instead of like the Industrial Revolution happening in like the 18 and 1900s, instead it happened in like ancient Greece. Where would we be right now? Where would humanity be right now if we had that?
Hard to tell.
It is. It's impossible.
We may have already nuked ourselves into oblivion by now.
That's true. We may have already nuked ourselves into oblivion, or we may be a post-singularity traveling like species, where basically we're able to take advantage of like stuff like the rail drive and actually like go across the stars. You heard of the rail drive? Probably. Or they call it the rail drive, but the relativity drive. Basically, Alcubierre. Yeah. Basically, it is a drive that is powerful enough to punch a hole in space and time, and basically like fold space and time and like punch through to another side, and basically enable
it's
you.
Essentially the same concept they talk about in Event Horizon, isn't it?
Wormhole travel, yes.
Yeah.
And basically, the Alcubierre drive is like seen as like an actual thing that could happen, and they've talked about it, and it is potentially possible. I mean, because they've shown how they're able to bend space and time and create matter with with the atom smasher. The what's it called?
The Large Hadron.
Hadron Collider. Yeah. They've shown that, and they said that if it could be practically applied in space, and you could find ways to intersect 2 points of space and time and just punch through, you would basically undo the effects of like traveling at light speed. Because you know what the problem with traveling at light speed is, right? Say you travel 2 million light years away to a place at the speed of light, and theoretically, because you would be there within like a short period of time, but you traveling back to where your point of origin was, 4 million years would have passed. So you would have gone 2 million years away, 2 million years back, boom, you come back and everything's 2 million years or 4 million years older. So that's the problem. That's the paradox with like light speed travel, is that they say that, warp travel and like this kind of travel are what are needed in order for humanity to truly expand amongst the stars and not lose anything.
In my opinion, like, I know it doesn't make sense to say my opinion in regards to things that are considered to be supposedly scientific fact, but I don't think that makes sense to me.
Why is that?
Because if you travel at light speed, that basically means you're traveling at the speed that light travels.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And theoretically, if you go for an amount of time at light speed from this destination to this destination, that shouldn't affect how time progresses for you or anyone else anywhere else in the universe.
Well, sad to say, it's because time dilation.
Because time doesn't happen that way for light traveling from the sun to here, does it?
Well, it's because of our perception of time from here on Earth. Everything, like the sun rays that we're experiencing are in fact like much older than what we think they are.
Like, I could see if you're actually bending space and time to go that fast, yes, that could factor in. But if you were just traveling at that speed, I wouldn't think that should affect time in any way. I mean, I'm not a scientist.
Well, it's just time dilation. They actually did the time dilation technique or time dilation experiment back in like the 1950s, 1960s. They had two clocks, both of them synced up to the same time. Both of them running at the exact same time, and then they put one on a jet and basically said, okay, fly around the world as fast as you can. And they did that, and the jet went all the way around the world, circumnavigated the planet, came back, and they got the clock out and put it next to the other one, and turns out the one that was on the jet was ahead.
Now, have they done that experiment again since then?
They did it multiple times for control. So
because
that way
were those mechanical clocks?
They were in fact like,
because what I'm thinking
they were nuclear clocks.
Did they actually like allot for the idea that the inertia caused on a mechanism from traveling that fast could actually cause it to malfunction?
Yes, they did, which is why they basically made it to where the clocks were untamperable, and they basically had it to where they were secure.
So I think if you ran that experiment now with a digital system,
they did.
I would be more likely to be like, okay.
Well, they did in the modern era, and the result was exactly the same. And it's just
still makes no sense to me.
Well,
like, I don't get why that happens.
It's gravity. Gravity and light are tied together, and gravity
somehow tied into time as well.
Well, yeah, because time basically, how you experience time is basically relative to the light and the gravitational pull of which the planet you're on. For instance, it's like in Interstellar, when they went to this one planet that was like really close to a black hole. Every hour they spent on there was like 5 years in Earth time.
Well, because I could see it from the perspective of like if you go on to Mercury, like, and somehow survive because you're that close to the sun, obviously, but assumingly a day is going to be much shorter there.
Yes.
And so like 7 or 8 Mercury days, like, would probably equate to 1 day here, but that's just because of the rotation.
Yes.
And, the planet that you're on.
Well, yeah.
But if you come back here after, 7 or 8 Mercury days and you just do the conversion, it's like this many Earth days. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a difference, you would think.
Well, no, it's not on that level. Like, on a interplanetary level, yeah, but if you're talking about an extra planetary level, like you're traveling away and towards black holes and everything, where basically gravity waves basically cause time to move much faster. I mean, it's crazy stuff, dude.
It's very strange to me.
It is. It's insanity. It's literal. How do you think people who study string theory literally lose their minds and they're just like at the end of their rope by the time they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're just like, I can't do it anymore. I can't stand calculating up the time and space and everything in the universe. I can't stand it anymore. So
like there's elements of it that are almost like eldritch or science fiction to an extent.
To an extent, yes. And
like...
it's an impossibility. Like, studying it and understanding it within one lifetime is a literal impossibility. And as far as we've come, there may be something that comes out like within our lifetime that just completely undoes all of the research and basically says, yeah, you all approached it wrong because you approached it looking at it this way, when in truth you should have been approaching it looking this way. And thus all of that research and effort that was put in, as Max said, science is a liar sometimes.
The aliens come down and they're like, you guys think that if you go light speed you'll lose all this time? Like, that's funny.
Yeah. And they'll just be like,
and I'll be like, I fucking told you.
Then
I
all of a sudden,
told you it didn't make sense.
All of a sudden, like, the aliens are just like, why don't you all just use inertia dampeners? We can do that. Yes. How do you do that? Oh, it's quite simple. Here, you just do this, this, and this. God, son of a bitch. Anyway, I don't want to keep harping on about this. We got to move on. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you all very soon. So until then, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.